Welcome to part 5, looking back at the last 25 years of this documentary. We all know there's been some struggles in this period, but we pick up this part in 1998-99 season, making our way back to the top flight of junior football with a new manager.
In the season 98-99 we were second division champions.
In 2001, Robert Riley took over as manager.
I was asked to join the committee in 1997 by the late Alison McCall and Alec O'Patrick. First of all, supposedly just to help out, and that stretched for helping out them to the present time. I was made vice chairman with Kurt Dixon in 2005, and the teams in those days with Chris Stream as a manager, the Meadow had a very successful team in those days, won I think it was 16 trophies in 7 years, but that came with a price obviously when Meadow were paying wages which were not sustainable.
Dunkie Black spent some time as a goalkeeper for teams like Ashfield and Clydebank Juniors, but it wasn't until Dunkie had left goalkeeping behind that he joined Meadow as a physio in 1963 and worked under 21 managers in his time at the club. In 2003, for his 40th season, a tribute dinner was held for Dunkie. Duncan hung up his magic sponge in 2012, but unfortunately passed away in 2019.
In season 2002-2003 we won the North Ayrshire Cup.
In 2005, a well-known former player, Chris Strain, took over the managerial post at Irvine Meadow, which proved to produce another period of success for this club.
I think it was 2005 when I come back to Meadow after being a player, signed in 82 as a player, was there for 9 years, done quite well, won a League Cup, Ayrshire Cup, maybe a couple of local cups, but when I come back in 2005, was there for 8.5 years, won 16 trophies, 3 leagues, won back to back, 3 Wests, 3 evening times, Ayrshire League Cup, so everything by the Scottish. Not winning the Scottish, I think the players were playing too hard, they were just trying too hard, that was just the monkey in their back, and I just felt, we had a couple of chances, once against Pollock, Auchinleck down here, and then the semi-final against Bathgate, my first year. We were very unlucky, we got a player sent off. I thought the referee was very cruel to us. But I think the players, they were trying too hard to win the Scottish Cup, and it proved it because we were really running over the top of teams in the league and other cups, and I think it just, it got to them a wee bit, and it just wasn't there to lift the Scottish.
So John McCall was here with you as your assistant. How do you go on with John?
Known John for years, played with John here, knows the game outside in, hard as nails, brilliant one-liners, kept the dressing room really going. As I say, one-liners, he kept everybody on their toes, even at training. You didn't know when John was going to smash it, when he wasn't. That was typical John, but very good player.
2006-07 season, they won the Ayrshire Cup and West Regional First Division. Ayrshire Press Cup beating Talbot 2-1 at Cumnock.
Really enjoyed Tubs, but tough to say Arbroath at Meadow Park to win 1-0. And that was the season 2008-09.
And was that the Scottish Cup?
That was the Scottish Senior Cup, and Meadow were the first junior team to beat a senior team in the Scottish Senior Cup. So we set another record that day.
One of the best days it was up at Lochee in the Scottish. We had a burnt supper the night before. We'd taken all the sandwiches in the car and we got up there and into the ground, and fairly early on Richie Barr got sent off. I think it was in the first 10 minutes, and backs to the wall. You were thinking it was going to be, and we absolutely hammered them 3-0. A couple of great performances that day. Gary Fleming in particular, and Big Mark Campbell was outstanding.
In season 2009-10, Meadow had another run in the Scottish Cup, making their way to the 4th round with a match against Hibs.
That's me in the photograph there. That was a reward for beating Arbroath.
an away tie to Hibs in the Scottish Cup 2010. Great day out.
My memories of the Hibs game, it was the atmosphere in the town. Not just the official buses that left for the games, but there was also buses from various pubs, the Kings, the Delta. I think there was one for down the harbour side. There was also a couple of buses went from bowling clubs. Winton Bowling Club, I think Kirdle Toll as well.
The Hibs game, it was a great experience for the full town, and half the full town was out anyway. It was a David versus Goliath clash, if ever there was one. The Ayrshire Juniors up against the team which at the time sat second in the Premier League. I went up in one of the supporters' buses that was run for the turf with Jack Perry. This is me at the game here. Travelled with my pal, and one of the things I remember about the game against Hibs was travelling over, and we stopped at Hart Hill Services, and there was a bus full of Irvine Meadow supporters having a snowball fight. So we just climbed back into the car and managed to get through it off the ball on the Saturday, and I believe Tam Kevin, Stuart Cosgrove read it out, so another mention for the Meadow.
Meadow took Hibs by surprise with their attacking play. Brian McGinty hit the bar with an audacious chip as he spied a strong penalty claim when Richie Barr was taken out by the keeper and raced clear of the defence.
I was up at the game, this is me here. Hibs were clinical with their chances and run out 3-0 winners, but what a day for the Meadow.
Is that you with the Santa hat on?
That's me with Santa hat on.
What were you wearing
just after Christmas.
And you still had it on?
Still had it on. I didn't go to my bed till on time.
The Scottish Cup tie with Hibs was my best day ever in junior football. It was absolutely magical. The Hibs people couldn't have done more for us. And John Hughes, their manager, actually was still sitting with us in the director's box at 2:15 with a 3 o'clock kick-off. Rob Petrie had to come up and take him away. He was just full of junior stories.
Family legend has it, I don't really remember myself, that the first time my father brought me to the Meadow Park, I got frightened by the big crowd and he had to take me home. A few weeks later I was at another game, this time under threat of death from my father, that should I start crying again, I would never be taken to Meadow Park again. I managed to stay fairly reasonably complimentous that day, and I've been coming to Meadow Park from that day until 1975 when I left the area to work, but I came back in 2010 for the Scottish Cup run that ended at Hibs, and I've been coming ever since.
In 2011-12 we won the West of Scotland Cup for the 9th time and the Premier Division.
In 2012 to 2013 we won the League Cup. Also played Queen's Park, Hampden Park in the Scottish Cup.
In season 2014-2015 Meadow were runners-up in the league and beating semi-finalists in the Scottish Cup. Winning the first leg 2-1, then getting beat 3-1 in the second leg to Hurlford.
They won the Premiership 3 times, we was runners-up twice, but as I say, it came at a price where the club nearly went into liquidation. For that time on, it was a very, very fragile time for the club. There was a share issue and it saved the club from actually being going into oblivion. Mr. Brian Lamb, the general manager at the moment, came into the club with his enthusiasm and his energy has transformed the club. The club is now financially secure, and the surroundings, we gained a SFA licence, and we're now a successful club. Those days, although the Meadow were paying big wages, they were great days to be a supporter of the Meadow, playing the likes of Livingston, Queen's Park, Hibs, Selkirk, all the big clubs. Even Arbroath here was the first junior club to beat a senior Scottish club. But obviously, as I said before, those days came at a price. But looking forward to the future now, and hope to sustain them at the Meadow and keep it safe.
During this period, Irvine Meadow were in a poor financial situation, which required dedicated support from the community. Long-time fans of the club, Tom McFarlane and his wife Lynn, became instrumental in developing the club's future plans. Debts had to be cleared. Supporters meetings were held, where thankfully the supporters got behind the restructuring and bought shares, helping to clear the debt.
As a fan, The last 8 to 10 years has been hard on financial things, and with stopping junior football becoming into the pyramid system. I still don't think everything's figured out yet, but especially the last 3 years, there's lots of players not playing for loyalty anymore. They all want to play for the money. So, and with the year deals going about now, players can just start talking to clubs even after 6 months now. I don't like that rule. I think that rule should be, I don't know, argued over.
With the club starting to experience both financial and playing staff difficulties, something had to change, and the club needed to revitalise their image. And so, a decision was made to become a community club.
There was a spell when we were coming along to games at Meadow Park and really not enjoying the whole thing. The team wasn't playing well, we were losing games, the fans were not getting enthused by it. But once we started turning into the community club, things brightened up. And as you can see if you walk into Meadow Park, it's a modern, smart football stadium that's fit for anyone to play on.
It's great to see like some of the kids' days out there, that you know the tournaments and whatever. You know, there were the youngsters with their Meditaps on, same as a lot of us were when we were youngsters as well. Except we didn't have the tops because we couldn't afford them.
So I'm probably one of the newer fans here. I've only been coming maybe about the last 8 years, 7 or 8 years. My son, who followed Meadow, got me to start coming. And I've never looked back. I go to every game. Every game I can manage if I'm not working. And it's part of the community, this club, you know, and it gives a lot of young kids a chance to develop through.
Well, it gets me out with my friends on a Saturday. And what an atmosphere you get in this wee club. And like since I've came here, I've been welcomed into, like it's basically they call it a Meadow family, which I see myself as now being part of. I've only been a fan really in the last 10 years, but my best memory is probably getting promoted back into this league against Starford. What a night that was.
Back in 2016, an ex-player, Jimmy Noble, brought an idea, a vision to the committee table that to prevent us paying ridiculous transfer fees, we started a youth academy and brought on board local talent.
Once Chris Train left, Stephen Rankin and Murdo McKinnon took over the team and brought several players with them. They finished runner-up in the league and the semi-finals of the Scottish Cup. The following season, the committee backed an increased budget based on how close the team was the previous season, but after an impressive start, a run of poor, heavy defeats, Rankin departed.
Davy Gregg came in, but the team had lost its way and despite reaching the final of the Ayrshire Cup, they lost 5-1 to Beath. The team got relegated to the Championship.
By now the scale of the financial situation was unfolding within the club, struggling to fill their contract obligations.
Most of the big earners were out of contract, and with the playing budget slashed, Davy Gregg left, stating he could not field a team on a low budget.
A best fit solution presented itself when Gareth Turner and Mick Wardrobe put forward their names for management with Neil McGowan as coach, all former Meadow legends. They assembled a local bunch of guys within the budget and competed near the top of the league, and this let the committee concentrate on reducing the debt. However, at the end of the season, Gareth advised that due to change in employment he could not continue the next season.
After a period of interviews, Ross Wilson was given the job due to his success at Kello, but the results were poor and we were soon looking for a replacement manager.
Brian McGinty was given the job, and after a shaky start the team became hard to beat and the confidence was building. The team climbed up the league and got to a player versus athlete with a third bottom of the Premiership. Meadow won both legs in front of large crowds to move up the Premier League.
The following season the team kept their Premier status, but a good win in the Scottish Junior Cup ended at Kello in the quarter-finals after a poor team performance. McGinty resigned on the Tuesday.
Colin Spence and James Latta, who played in the team at the time, took over as interim basis and later approached the committee about taking over the following season. David Giles joined as coach.
Then COVID hit the world.
no prize. The team offered to play without pay. It gave the joint managers a chance to manage without any delegation.
The league was getting restructured with the West Junior team moving into the Pyramid. The following season, 22-23, the club had settled all their debts. In fact, things had advanced brilliantly off the park with the superstructure enhancements and the club being the first club in North Ayrshire to obtain an SFA certificate.
It was a successful outcome in the league as well, as 6 teams were to be relegated and Meadow finished 8th. The playing budget was increased yet again and numerous players were signed, but they took time to settle and there were many changes, and regretfully we went out the Big Scottish Cup.
The managers offered to resign on the evening of the defeat and the committee decided to accept. The AGM was the next day. There will be no manager to advise on future plans.
The club advertised again, this time looking for the security of a manager who had experience. George Grierson was appointed and saw the team move from third bottom to second at one point. Another bombshell, George resigned late one Friday afternoon with a fixture the following day.
His assistant and coaches all felt they had to resign as they had worked with George for several years. But no one really knows why George walked, and his backroom staff liked where they were. So we ran with them for a trial period and eventually they asked to be kept on.
So in our 125th year we had 4 managers, Colin and James as joint managers, George and then his former assistant Kevin Deaney.
Hi, I'm Stuart, I'm on the committee. I've been a Meadow fan for about 15 or so years. I also run the Meadow Supporters Club. I've got about 220 members. For anybody interested and has got any wee bit Meadow minded, give me a wee shout, we'll get you signed up.
Around this period, there were discussions about the West Juniors joining the pyramid system. The club then embarked on restructuring their facilities. The creation of an upstairs lounge, a community group hub, a kitchen and toilets, and the BL suite, which helped increase capacity in the social club. Additionally, floodlights and stands were built inside the stadium.
Meadow Park has always been an excellent surface with very few games off. Its position in the west of Scotland, near the sea, and it being sand-based has preserved the park surface for numerous years. However, around 2015, a volunteer installed a drainage diagonally on the Wilson Avenue side of the park. And although this helped the drainage, the surface was never really reinstated. So in 2016, we undertook the reinstatement of the drain track and we tried to develop an understanding of what was required on the park. So we procured a rotary lawnmower and a roller, a spiked roller, a dethatcher and a hoover, together with maintenance of our Toro cylinder lawnmower, and we embarked on an education of how to look after the park ourselves. Now, I don't think it would ever go back to the standards where Gus had it. He brought in external contractors, which cost the club quite a bit of money. So we're trying to get this done in-house by our own ground staff. The training area was another area that had fallen into disrepair. It had been used as a car park. It was pretty badly rutted. All the boards were falling down, etc. So it was another project that we undertook. We got it up to a decent standard for training with. At this time, Brooks McNally, Brian McNally, was the head groundsman with Alan Wallace as his assistant, and he did a lot of good work at the time. But he had to pack it in due to his family commitments. Alan Wallace is now in charge of all grass cutting operations and maintenance, ably assisted by Brooks McNally, who's come back to help from time to time, which is great to see him back. Thanks guys for all the good work.
There goes 125 years of Irvine Meadow. And now that the club is entering its 126th year, what of the future? So let's hear what the fans have to say.
A good team, as somebody said, a stable team with good relationships between the club and the team, where the team get more and more success.
For the next season, hopefully stay in this league, good cup run, maybe a cup, hopefully.
Excited for the future, especially becoming a community club, and there's lots of boys clubs, and their dreams should be to aim to get into the first team. And then that's obviously a financial thing. If you can rear players well through coaching and get them onto the pitch for the big team on Saturday, as well as more sponsorship and stuff come into the club. Obviously the wee functions, and that's good too. At the club we have to try and raise money, so everybody's pulling the right way. It's just financially we're just not one of the big guns anymore, but we've still got some rough diamonds. Every club has, so
I think we're going to keep marching on. We'll work, I think, the way the team is working here and management is looking after this, the financial directors and everything. They're keeping it within the constraints that it should be. You can't spend money anywhere. It's as simple as that. And if you can't get money to buy a big player, you can't buy a big player. You just try and bring one on. But you can't go, we've been doing the road before, spend the money that we didn't have. Don't want to go that way again.
I've always, there've been ups and downs for a good few years now, but I think it's on the right track now. It's the right people that are running it now, and it looks like it's going in the right way. And hopefully it's onwards and upwards.
Well, there we have it. 125 years of Irvine Meadow, from their birth late in the 1800s until season 2022-23. Irvine Meadow are a club steeped in its own history and traditions, a club with its own roots firmly set within the community. For anyone involved in football, they will recognise the various highs and lows a club may endure to compete at the highest level. Football has transformed over the years, but continues to be relevant no matter the era. Football clubs require the best players available to be successful, but, as we have seen, without the commitment of the backroom staff, who are generally volunteers, the game at this level would never survive. So here's to Irvine Meadow. We look forward to the next 125 years.
Well, there you are, 125 years of Meadow history. 3 Scottish Junior Cups, 25 leagues and 85 other cup competitions, excluding Mirrabus, etc. Sadly, nothing to show in the last 10 years, but we do look forward to another 125 years of success. So I'd like to thank the National Lottery Heritage Fund for providing the funding for the project, and I'd like to thank the Ayrshire Film Company, especially Grant Northcote, for pulling it all together. And the final thanks go to my 5 project managers who helped me with each of the 5 parts of the film. Thank you.